heard of that? No, nobody? Okay. And they drew my name out of the bucket, and then they were like, oh, we're going to draw your name. And then I did really good. I killed it. And then they invited me back for another minute. So I did my second night in Sacramento last Thursday. And then they said, hey, what are you doing this weekend? Do you want to come to San Francisco? And I was like, sure. So I went to San Francisco, and I did a minute at the Comedy Club in San Francisco in Little Italy. So that was pretty cool. And I've been invited to go to the Comedy Store in Los Angeles. But I'm probably a little tired tonight, so these jokes, not so much. But if you guys want to watch, they're like podcast 400, 401, and I think 404 or something. All right. My mom, when she saw her grandson for the very first time, he's about to turn 18, but she looked at him and she was like, oh my gosh, my grandson has red hair. And when she looked at him, she's like, no girl's ever going to date him. Recently, we've been looking at like homecoming pictures of the kid. And then she's like, he can only get kind of good-looking girls because he has the red hair. I just hope maybe the kid can do a little bit better. I ran into another like guy that has red hair on the show, and I'm just going to start making fun of him now, too. I'll have to come up with those maybe next week. All right. I was trying to Anna Nicole Smith this guy, but then I found out he was broke. Do any of you guys just get, like, somebody that always thinks they're going to die, but they just never die? And they're like, all like, yeah, you, Sierra? Who's your guy? Is it a guy or a girl?
No, I'm the person who always thinks they're going to die.
Oh, you always think you're going to die?
I'm pretty sure it's just like right around the corner.
Is she really dramatic? Like, Jordan, is she like all like, oh, you got to say goodbye to me because this might be the last time that you ever see me? Every time? Jordan, why don't you tell me about it a little bit? I'm curious. I don't really have much material tonight. What does she say? How does she say goodbye to you?
Like, well, I guess I'm going to go die now. Won't see you later.
Yeah, I have the same problem. I have this gentleman friend, and he's like, oh, give me a hug, and then give me a kiss on the cheek, and you're like, and then as you kiss him goodbye, he's like, you might not see me again. And I'm like, I only wish. I met a lot of crazies in California. I don't know, San Francisco is wild. I don't speak Italian, and I went to this Italian place right before the show, and the guy was speaking to me all in Italian. I said, just bring me some food. He didn't understand that. I was like, no, I'm going to starve in the city. I tried to eat at that Melt Burger place. I had to put my own order into the computer. And you have to swipe your card up and not down. You swipe your card down, you can't get any food. If somehow you swipe your card up, you have yourself a burger. I don't know. Okay. City life, I'm probably gonna have trouble. You guys know I work as a demo girl, and we had this Amber Alert the other day. And I had this new lady that I was working with, her name is Karen, and she was like all upset. She's like, what if somebody kidnaps the child? What if somebody takes the child? I was like, Karen, were you abducted as a child? She's like, no. She's just bawling, crying. I'm like, Karen, don't worry, they always find the child. They haven't stole one yet out of here yet. It's mainly like women on their cell phones, and they're like texting or calling their boyfriends or their husbands or whatever, or their girlfriends. And anyway, and then they just lose the kid. Like, I think that if you're in the store and you have a kid, maybe you should talk to the kid. Don't just put the kid on the screen. Because how is the kid going to know, like, how to do things in the future? I guess maybe the screen will tell it what to do. But it won't have any memories of you. I don't know. Don't worry, we found the kid. I was handed a glass of water in California, but it wasn't really water. It wasn't vodka. And you couldn't really tell that it was like anything at all. It just had some bubbles in it. All right. I got a lot of getting used to California. I'll just end on this one. I went and saw my dentist, Rachel, and I told her about my trip to California, and she's like, oh man, I was in San Francisco this weekend too. And I was like, oh, what were you doing in San Francisco? And then this is where I knew like there was a discrepancy in the amount of money my dentist made and the amount of money that I made. Because she was like, oh, I went and saw Hamilton. And I'm like, oh, really? She's like, yeah, it was riveting. He's going to be playing in New York, but I just thought I'd see him while he was in San Francisco so I didn't have to go to the East Coast. And I'm like, oh, really? And I was like, she's like, you should go. No, Rachel, I'm never going to go see Hamilton. I'm never going to be able to figure that one out. All right, thank you. That's all I have. Good night.